When I tell you the horrible story that I am about to share with you today, you will never believe it. I promise you that. I am going to tell you about it today, which is the day that I have chosen. It is highly likely that you have never heard of one of the most well-known music feuds. Yet, this is a narrative of power and insecurity. Most likely, you have never heard of it before. Additionally, it is considered to be one of the most significant competitions in the field of music. Both Jay-Z and Drake, the two rappers who have had the most significant influence on our generation, are essential to everything that is noteworthy. They are the focal point of everything that ought to be considered significant. Furthermore, Blue Ivy Carter, who is Jay-Z's child and the only one who fits her description, is the focus of attention for everything that is taking place. She is the only child that fits her description. It is impossible to adequately describe the incident that took place between these two heavyweights in the music industry in written form since it is ineffable and cannot be articulated in entirety. Given the scale of the event, it is impossible for written language to adequately portray its significance. You are going to be so shocked by the conclusion of this movie that you are going to be shaking your head in disbelief right then and there. You are going to be so amazed that you will be unable to believe it. It is highly recommended that you make it a point to watch this remarkable story all the way through to the end in order to ensure that you do not overlook any of the components that comprise the whole thing. There is not a single facet of it that you are going to want to ignore at any point. In the event that this is your very first time seeing our website, you must additionally ensure that you select the subscribe choice. Consequently, as a result of this, you will be able to make certain that you do not miss out on any additional mind-blowing celebrity news or gossip in the not-too-distant future. In the year 2012, just 1 year after Blue Ivy was born, everything began to take shape. This was the year that everything began to take shape. Things started to take shape at this point, which was the beginning of the period. The assertion that Blue Ivy is the daughter of Beyoncé and Jay-Z, two of the most well-known people in the music industry, is without a doubt the fact. Beyoncé and Jay-Z are two of the most iconic figures in the world of music. The attention of Blue Ivy's famous parents has been focused on her from the moment she was born till the current day. This attention has continued until the present day. Since the moment she was born until the current day, this has been the situation up until this point. At the same time that everything was going on, another rapper by the name of Drake was reveling in the glory of the success of his debut album, which was titled Take Care. Drake was performing at the same time as everything else. The success of Drake's album was something he felt grateful for. As an additional point of interest, it would appear that Drake had his sights set on making a profit off of Blue Ivy's renown, and in order to accomplish this purpose, he used a plan that was somewhat unexpected. According to the material that was made available to the general public, Drake had submitted an application for a trademark in order to formally obtain ownership of the rights to the pseudonym Blue Ivy. During the course of 2013, the information was made accessible to the broader public. It is true that you have written it right. Drake was making an effort from the very beginning to seek ownership of the name of Jay-Z and Beyoncé's own daughter. This is something that you have read correctly. You have correctly read this. This is something that you have read. It is not something that should come as a surprise and should be taken into consideration that Jay-Z was filled with an incomprehensible amount of wrath when he discovered that Drake had engaged in a dishonest act. This is something that should be taken into consideration. After all, Blue Ivy was the object of his adoration and the source of the greatest pride he had ever experienced in his entire life. He had never felt anything else in his life quite like that. Regardless of the circumstances, he was not going to grant permission to another rapper to use his daughter's name in any way, shape, or form. He was not going to do that. As if the situation was already difficult, he was not going to allow it to happen. Jay-Z took fast action and made use of his tremendous authority and contacts within the music industry to guarantee that Drake was pushed to pay a high price in response to Drake's audacious attempt to claim ownership of Blue Ivy. By doing so, Jay-Z ensured that Drake was forced to pay a high price. All of this was done with the intention of ensuring that Drake was compelled to pay a significant amount of money. The courageous actions that Jay-Z performed were carried out as a response to the bravery that Drake shown. Jay-Z was the one who was responsible for coordinating the multiple high-profile collaborations that took place between Drake and Jay-Z. Jay-Z was the one who was responsible for orchestrating these collaborations, and Drake was the one who was responsible for coordinating them. After everything was said and done, The two rap masters worked together to record a number of tracks, which was an undertaking that also involved collaboration. It was to the delight of their respective fan bases that this occurred. On the other hand, there was a catch. Jay-Z made certain that Drake had to pay a substantial amount for each and every one of these records that were produced in collaboration. The catch was in this case. This particular catch was the one that brought the most significance. Furthermore, folks, the quantity of change that we are discussing here is not a very little one. This is particularly true in this context. Take this into consideration. It is alleged that the rapper Jay-Z made a request to Drake, requesting that Drake pay him millions of dollars so that he might be included on Drake's recordings. Jay-Z took this step with the intention of ensuring that Drake would pay the ultimate price for his attempt to make a profit off of the name of his daughter. Jay-Z's desire was to ensure that Drake would pay the ultimate price. The purpose of Jay-Z's actions was to make certain that Drake would be forced to pay the ultimate price. With that being said, it goes without saying that Drake soon became aware of the ramifications of his actions. You should never mess with Jay-Z, especially when it comes to making decisions that have an impact on his family. Regarding this particular matter, it is important to take it into mind. What is the most important thing that can be learned from this, out of the numerous things that may be learned from this? In light of the fact that the love that a parent has for their child is simply incomparable, it is of the utmost need to keep this fact in mind. Jay-Z has shown the entire world that he is willing to do any and all measures that are necessary to achieve his objective of being able to preserve the memory of his daughter. He has done this with the idea of protecting the memory of his daughter. In this poem, the kind of dedication that is expressed is something that each and every one of us has the ability to work toward obtaining. I would want to take this time to thank you for watching, and I would also like to take this chance to remind you to subscribe to my channel so that you may view a variety of other fantastic celebrity stories about celebrities. Maintain your patience until we are able to get back together.